Hello there. Thank you for joining us here on The Handshake with Million Komjisha. And this is New Vision TV. We look at what's happening in our economy and we get to discuss these things and make each other understand. I have with me Paul Busharizi. This gentleman helps us, dig deep and understand some of these things. Sometimes I think I'm in a classroom. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I was reading the papers recently, and they're talking about multi-billion shillings markets around the country. And then they go ahead to say it's a revamping program that is about 158 million US dollars.
Wow.
Invested. That is around the country. Question is, all that money
For markets.
for markets, is there value for it?
I mean, that's, again, well, multi-billion dollar question, multi-billion shilling question.
Okay.
I think the initial indications is that these markets, I think it's safe to say they were not designed with the users in mind.
Oh.
I think we got money, we had access to money, and we said, let's just build markets. Of course, our traditional markets, they are normally, obviously, open air.
Yes.
Maybe stalls all around with the people putting their wares either on, raised surfaces or on the ground. And the clients would walk through, choosing whatever. Now you have multi-story markets. I've had complaints, at least I know one market where I know some people who are interested in investing in it and kind of think it's a bad idea now. The stores are too small. There seems to be no order. Why should I go and buy stuff on the third floor and yet the bottom floor? It's a classic case of government projects. Governments tend to like to advertise their inputs, what they have done. We've built 20 classrooms, we've built 50 roads, we've built so many markets. Governments are not like businesses. Businesses, it's interesting what goes in, but it's more important what comes out. So if these markets, you've built these markets, are they increasing economic activity, for example, to justify, first of all, the money you borrowed, and secondly, to justify just the whole project? Because if you build the whole thing and then it doesn't help, you're doing less business then than you used to do in the past, then loss all around.
But have you seen these markets around?
Oh yes, the Wande Gear is one.
Are there people?
Well, there are people in the ground floor. There are some people trying to struggle up the stairs, but the ones up the stairs are not too happy with the situation.
It's interesting. They mentioned that usually these people pay about 250,000 shillings for a stall. Per person.
Per month?
Annually.
Okay.
But now they're going to be paying 1.11 million shillings.
Yeah, you see, however, what can be said, I think, is that the way the markets are designed in terms of I think it's safe to say accessibility is better, parking and all that kind of business. So if you're going to raise my rent, I should see a comparable improvement in sales. Just because, look, if you went and spent 10 million on your building, so you charge me 1.1 million per year, it's not my problem what you spent. The issue for me as a person who rents is there more business to justify a fourfold increase in my rent? If the business is not going up fourfold,
yes,
I don't know what you're doing, essentially. Yeah. So, and I don't think there's 4 times the business going into these markets than was happening before. And we know that the stall owners were not multi-billionaires. They were not rich people. So it's not as if they were earning such huge margins that now they can take a cut down to a quarter. No. So, I mean, obviously the argument is that time will tell that people will come into these markets, but I'd love to be there to see it. I kind of don't. I suspect what is going to happen in the future is that these markets, the role will change. All the vendors will go out.
They're already out. Some, I think, have left.
I wouldn't be surprised. It just can't. It can't make economic sense for a vendor. So, some other economic activity will go into those markets. Because the buildings are there. You can't really wish them away. They are there. They have to be used one way or another.
True. So now the money spent for...
You, the taxpayer, are going to pay.
We're already paying, I think.
Absolutely. No, well, maybe there was a grace period because normally these were loans. I think these loans were from the African Development Bank.
Yeah.
They normally have a grace period to allow the construction to happen and get some. So maybe not yet, but yeah, we're going to pay for those things.
And you see when they get these people out of the original markets, there's this chaos.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to revamp, but there's a lot involved.
I mean, first of all, personally, I think a place like Wandegea Market should not be there at all. I think the city, you see, the way the city was envisaged in those days was that these markets, many of them were outside the city. Which would be the residential areas. So Wandegea was on the outskirts. But you see, Wandegea is no longer on the outskirts of the city. Wandegea is in the center of the city. So maybe this market should move out. So building it there was also, I don't think they took into consideration the changes. You just have money, we have a market here, we'll just plant the thing there and hope for the best.
But somehow they're trying to make our country better. I think we should appreciate that. Yes.
Well, they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Not my words. But this is the Handshake, and we've been trying to understand the revamping of these markets. Is there value for money? And like Paul said, I think there is or there is not. Time will tell. Eventually, we'll find out and maybe how best to use these markets. Paul, thank you so much.
You're welcome.